But today we're going to talk about Pinterest and just kind of review the analytics. And what I thought I would do is actually show you guys one of the Pinterest accounts that I'm working in right now, and just the little tweaks that I've made over the last few weeks that have made a difference. Noelle, again, all this analytics stuff and talk of Pinterest, I know I'm always relying on you, but Noelle can probably lend some wise words as well. But I first wanted to start with just the whole point of analytics, because obviously they're there, right? We all know they're there. Every once in a while you may click on the insights if you're not using it strategically, and just to like kind of, hey, what is in this? And then you look at it and you're like, wow, this is really cool. And, you know, or, oh, I didn't know I had this many, you know, this much reach or whatever, you know, impressions or whatever. And you get excited. Impressions always excite me because I'm not really using the data correct. I wasn't really using the data correctly. I was just more looking at it out of curiosity and interest. And I'd be like, wow, I can't believe that many eyes were on this particular post or on that story. You know, it's really kind of cool. And it was a little uplifting to me because I'm like, oh, that's great. That many people are seeing it. And then it's also the downside of, oh, so why didn't they like it or share it or save it, you know, or comment on it? So the point is that we have to then use that data to do something with it. So a big part of analytics and why we tend to not use them, if you're not someone like Noelle who delivers on her analytics, right? She has to deliver to her clients the numbers. A lot of us are in either creative fields, or like Jen isn't managing someone's social media for them. So it may not seem, you know, like it's as imperative to look at your analytics. But I think a big part of it is that we all think like, or not we all, but many of us think like, I'm just not a numbers person, right? Like I'm not a numbers person. Jen, I'm gonna leave you out of it because you are a numbers person. But I wouldn't even know, I mean, I would say you're a numbers person, but you're definitely like a creative. You know, you're a creative, you're a salesperson, you're a marketer, even more so. I know you understand numbers, but that's, you know, that's not really what you come to business casual for, right? You're coming here for like the creative, the marketing side. And so many of us here, you know, on this call or in our group are like, well, I'm just not a numbers person, right? That's not my thing. And I think what it does is, or what we need to do is take a don't take a mindset shift and think of it a little differently, right? So instead of thinking of it as I'm just looking at numbers and I'm digging really deep and I'm getting scientific, instead think of it as a way to take action. Because that's one thing most of us entrepreneurs and creatives are really good at, is like doing something, right? Like actually working on a project or working on a way to improve things. You know, we're always thinking like bigger, and, you know, entrepreneurs are always thinking like, how can I get more eyes on my business? How can I get more clients? How can I get more sales? And if you think of analytics as just a tool that you can use to then launch off for your creative side and your marketing side, I think you'll have better success, and you'll have a little more initiative to go look at those analytics, you know, on a set schedule. So speaking of a set schedule, analytics, unless you are doing a job like Noelle, where she has to kind of be in the water, you know, all the time, and what's happening with the businesses that she manages. But for us, other, you know, people that aren't, and even Noelle could say, step back and for her own business, not just for other people's, but like for her own business, even for that, it's not something that you need to look at on the daily, right? I mean, that is not where you shine, most of us. Some of you may, and so just kind of, you know, roll with this here. But it's not where we shine. It's not where you want to spend a whole bunch of time every day on your business. So don't look at it every day. If you're launching something new or you're trying something out, yeah, maybe you want to peek in there every once in a while, you know, and every day or every other day or something, just to kind of take a look and gauge what's happening. Like if you put a new ad out, right, you would want to like kind of be watching it to see, oh, what's happening with it? Is it, you know, is it generating leads? Is it generating clicks? You know, that sort of thing. But overall, I think you really just need to set yourself a reminder in your calendar, you know, whether it be once a week, once every 2 weeks, or even once a month. There are some analytics that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks that really are only kept in that system, like Instagram stories. You can only really look back in the last 14 days to dive down deep. So if Instagram stories is somewhere you're focusing, then that is something you need to be checking every 2 weeks. But I would say for most of us, it's an every 2, 3, 4 week kind of thing. And you could probably just set a little reminder in your calendar and, you know, remember like, hey, today I just need to kind of look through my analytics on the platforms that are most important to you. So even though we're reviewing all of the different platforms over these few weeks, I really want you to focus, like everything, like all marketing, on the things that really, really matter and generate leads and generate sales and click through, like actually end up in your bottom line, right? Where are your home bases? So if for most of us, it's website, okay, and it's like where you want to take people, then that's going to have to do with like Google Analytics and such, which we haven't gotten to yet. But then almost all of you are going to have some sort of social platforms that are important to you, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it is. Just focus on those one or two things. That way you're not overwhelming yourself with all the numbers from all the places and thinking, well, if I did this here and did this here, and then we just get into overwhelm and we don't do anything, right? We freeze. So instead, what I'd like you to do is take a breath. And it's nice to know information like all this, every week that I'm filling you in on Instagram, Facebook, Google, Pinterest, all this. It's all good to know, just to have a general understanding. And if you ever wanted to look in it, you would say, oh, cool, that's good to know. Or this may be somewhere like, when I have a moment to sit down and look at and see if I could generate more. However, first of all, just take step one. What are your home bases, right? Like your website, and then one or two other home bases. Where do you really, really want to concentrate? And step two is, what are the numbers that matter to me? Because there is a ton of info on all these sites, right? On all your insights, on the analytics, these dashboards, they're just filled with information, and it can be exciting and it can also be overwhelming and it can be just too much. So just look at the ones that are really, really important to you. And one thing I thought I would do, which I thought I would do for you guys, so I'm going to do it this week, is we have an analytics dashboard that we use for one of the companies that I'm consulting with. And it's great, right? It's like an Excel spreadsheet or a numbers spreadsheet, whatever, but it's got everything and you just plug it in. But we don't look at every single number in the analytics dashboard. We just pull the things that really, really matter, the things that are going to make a difference, the things that we know if they're not going well, if we improved on those, they would probably help us. So those are the kind of things that we look at. So I'm not looking at everything. I'm just pulling certain numbers out and then comparing them. In this business, we're comparing week over week, but in a lot we'll compare, month over month or even year over year. But we're just kind of comparing like, okay, what changes did we make that either improved or I almost said deproved, made it worse. I don't know what the right word is, or made it worse, from the week before. I like to really look at month over month, but the business that I'm consulting for that I'm thinking of is really like instant, it's a product. So it's like what's selling right now, today, tomorrow. And that's how we determine what we do the following week. So I want you to think of the business in that way. Not many of you sell an actual product. You're selling a service. And so you're looking at a little longer term, right? It's a longer like funnel to close somebody, right? And a lot of us, we don't have a buy now button like right away as soon as somebody like finds us, okay? It may be there, but that's not your intention, right? You want them to come in, see the value in what you do, and think that you're an expert in what you do, get to know, like, and trust you, and then buy from you. So, or become a client or become, a customer, whatever it is. But, so it's a little bit of a longer lag. It's not like if I put an ad out today for interior design, that somebody's going to immediately sign up with me tonight, right? That's not how it works, but that is how it works in a product-based industry. So when most of us doing services, it's a little more of a lag. So I think that you don't have to look at your analytics every single day, not even every week. You can kind of, do it on a 2-week or a 1-month basis. But this spreadsheet that we use is really, really helpful. And I thought it would be great if I could make it into a business casual spreadsheet and give it to you guys, and then you can play around and tweak it and just use the parts that you need. Like I can put in for social media. I'm assuming, Noelle, you probably have something that you use, right? Like some sort of spreadsheet or data collection that you use to deliver to your clients, right? Like showing numbers and such.
I don't have like a standard. I have one I created in Canva just for like Pinterest that I send monthly. Most of them really don't request anything, honestly.
Right. So well, you're doing the work for them, right?
Yeah, I'm mostly tracking it for my own purposes of knowing where we're going, but so it's not very pretty.
So if you don't have a Noelle and you are working, and you're the solo entrepreneur, or you have somebody that works under you that could help you with this, but they just don't know where to start, then, some sort of spreadsheet or, a document that you guys can use to look at the numbers all in one spot and you can just use the parts that you need, and then you can tweak it and play with it. So I'm going to work on that and get that out to you guys later this week. I just thought it would be a really helpful thing to use. So let's talk about Pinterest a little bit. We, because that's what this week is. It's about Pinterest. But we just did a whole bunch of stuff about Pinterest a couple weeks ago, right? Last month, we really got deep into why you should use it, how you should use it, what the algorithm looks like now in 2020, what they think is important. But I'm going to show you a little bit of the Pinterest. So I took some of those things that we talked about, and I've been applying them into the business that I am consulting for. So I'm going to actually pull up their stuff. Nobody tell them that I use this. Let me see. Google Chrome, here we go. And let me pull up, oops. Can you guys see my screen? Yay, okay. All right, so Illuminative is the company. It's a women's clothing company. I am their model, so it's a little ridiculous because it's like my face all over their website and all over their Pinterest. But recently, so this is, I'm just going to show you exactly what it is. So if you go to your homepage for Pinterest and you have a business account, you're going to get all these fun analytics, and you're going to go to Overview, and this is what you're going to see immediately. So a lot of these terms are the same as our Instagram and Facebook that we've been studying the last couple of weeks, but I will just quickly review them. So impressions are the number of eyeballs that got onto your, that saw your pin, right? So if you pinned something and, 100 people see it, it's 100 impressions. Now in Facebook and Instagram, they will count it if your post, not pin, but if your post was seen twice by one person. So if I have 100 people look at it, and that one of those people went and looked back at it again, that's 101. From what I understand, Pinterest does not do that. They do not count the same person twice. I don't know if Noelle, if I'm wrong about any of this, you just tell me. This is just what I read, the most recent thing. But then, yeah, they don't count it twice, because this is just an impression. This is just the scroll, right? This is just if they're scrolling through and their eyes have passed by. It could be for 1 second, it could be for 5 seconds. But that is the number of eyes that saw your post. The total audience is the number of people that saw all your posts, all right? So yeah, that have seen or engaged with your post. So that's the total audience. And then the engagements are similar to Instagram and Facebook, but this is repins or saves, they call it. It's officially called a save. We call it a repin sometimes, but it saves, it's comments. Right? Can you comment on a pin? I can't remember if you can comment on a pin. That's a great question. Let's see if you can. If I pull up somebody's pin, yes, you can comment. Okay, so you can comment. I don't know many people that, I myself, I don't comment on people's pins. I usually just repin them. So I would say most of the engagement is going to be a repin, but it's also a click, a close-up. A close-up is when somebody just looks at your pin in particular. So if you're scrolling through Pinterest and you see something you like and you click on it, you're not clicking through to their website yet. You're just clicking on it to make it bigger on your screen so that you can actually look at the post or at the pin. So that is a close-up. And then if they click on that and get to your website or wherever you're sending them, that is an actual link click. So that's the difference there with those things. Like on Instagram and Facebook, you don't do a close-up because that's just a little different thing on Pinterest. So just wanted to kind of give you guys that. So those are engagements. Those are the different ways that people can engage with what you're doing. So performance over time, this just gives you the last, I think it's 2 weeks on here, right? May 24th of June. Oh no, it's almost a month. So you can see this is where I started working in Pinterest really for Illuminative. This is where, when we were talking about this stuff, I started doing it, and the impressions went up immensely. We also did a little paid advertising. So one nice thing over here on the left-hand side is that you can separate organic and paid. So if organic, it still kind of looks the same, right? This is when I started playing around with Pinterest, adding more pins, more unique pins, and organizing our boards better, making it clearer, that sort of thing. So this is where the impressions, and I can tell a total difference, you guys, on the days that I either don't pin anything or I only pin a couple of pins. They are those low points. It's the days that I start creating new pins that the numbers really get up there. So you can definitely tell a difference. Let's see, it is not up to date like by day. You can see it only goes up to Monday, June 22nd, and today is Wednesday, the 24th. So in this impression, I mean, right here in this drop-down menu, you get all of those engagement things that we talked about, or all of the, like, break it down step by step, link clicks, you know, did anything make people click? Yes, we got some link clicks there, cool. We actually got one sale, I think, too. You can, it's not on here. Anyway, I'll show you guys in a minute, because if you're actually posting products, got one sale so far from Pinterest, but still building on it. If you go down a little further, you can see what the top boards are, like which boards of yours are getting the most activity. And if you just hover over it, you can see exactly, it breaks it down by impressions, close-ups, engagements, link clicks. That's cool. The Illuminative Style board has had 131 link clicks over the last month, and by far the most. This positive affirmation one, none at all. So I might want to look at that. Then if you scroll down even lower and you see, it gives you your top pins. These are the impressions. So this one is working the best, obviously. It's got 20,000 total impressions. It is a video. Duly noted, right? Keep that in mind when I am creating new pins, that a video one will work. And I'll show you guys that one. This is the video pin. It's just me dancing around in this dress. I guess people really identified with it and like to see the clothes and movement and such. So, oops, what I meant to do, go back to analytics. All right, go back to organic. I'm not going to include the paid thing. It was just something we were playing around with. The other ones that have been working well is, this is one I just did this last week. It's what to wear on a Zoom call. It's a blog post, a pin, and on Pinterest, these types of, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, these types of titles and words work really well on Pinterest, like kind of hacks and what to wear, or top 5, or, that sort of thing. There's what to pack for a summer vacation down here that I did another blog post for. And those work really, really well. The other thing that works well here is just clear photos, right? If you look at these, they're just very clear. They're very, kind of bright. Oh, this was another blog post I did. But anyway, the point is that you can look in here and you can see, this is just impressions. This is just the eyes that got on it. So what does that tell me? That tells me that these are the ones that Pinterest saw as relevant to the audience, right? Pinterest said, I'm going to make sure that somebody's eyes scroll over this. So that's what impressions tell you. When you get to engagements is where the audience comes in. It's what did they take action on? What did they do? What did they repin? What did they click through? What did they do a close-up look at? And again, the same video, that maxi dress is still the leader by far here on engagements. This one is an I am statement. That's positive affirmation. The what to wear on a Zoom call is doing really well still. I am brave. It's a little video, positive affirmation one. So you can kind of look through here and see, what is working, what is getting people's attention. I mean, if I learned anything from looking at this, it's I should make more posts or more pins like this one, right? With the video, very clear, very bright, easy to see. Whatever the words were in there, I need to, make sure I'm using those same type of keywords and such. So I've been creating all these new pins, but you know what? I haven't gone back to the basics here and looked at my analytics and said, this is what works. This is what actually gets eyes. This is what actually gets engagement. So keep that in mind. You can break all of this down and get really nitty gritty. This gives you the past about month pins created in the last 30 days. So this isn't, if you want to look at pins that are overall, all your pins, this is where you are here. If you want to click this little pins created in the last 30 days, these are just the newer pins that you've created just in the last 30 days. So that might help you as well to look at it and say, okay, of the ones that I've been creating lately, what worked best? And it's the what to wear on a Zoom call worked best. So I just have to kind of look at that and say, maybe these like top 3 are more of what I need to create. So you can get, like I said, so deep in here. And you can get really, you can look at devices and like how people are looking at your device or where they're looking at it, and see what worked best on that one as well. You can break it down by if it's just a regular pin here on the format side over here on the bottom left, or the side left, if it's a standard regular pin, if it was an actual product that you have linked to your website, if it's a video story, I'm not sure what that one is. I'll have to look and see. But so anyway, I think you guys get the idea. So if you are actually selling products though on Pinterest and you've linked it to your site, then this is a great place to be. It's conversion insights. I've had 27 people get on and add things to cart, which is fantastic, but only one checked out. And 1,590 page visits, which is fantastic. That's is over the last 30 days. But the one checkout garnered us $42. So, I mean, that's good. $42 more than we had, but not really, not like crushing it or anything. So I really probably take a look at that and see what can I do to encourage people to purchase more. But I know many of you are not product-based, so I'm not going to get too crazy. Video is something Pinterest is really playing with and is really trying to push as well, because it's something different that stops people when they're scrolling. So they've actually broken out your analytics by videos. And again, this Marama maxi dress is what is, bringing in the most action. The I am brave, this was just a positive affirmation one, but I just used Canva, and you can animate Canva now, like your Canva pins. And so that's all it looks like. It's just, that's considered a video, but it could stop somebody scrolling instead of just a static pin. So as long as they're clear and they look good, all right, then that would work really well. So just so you know, it breaks down by video, but you can get all that information on there as well. Let me go back to my notes here. So another cool thing about, let's see, where is it? I know it's on here somewhere. Another cool thing about Pinterest Analytics is this little button up in the top right says export. So you can export your analytics into a CSV file. And sometimes when we're looking on like Instagram, or I don't know if you can do it on Facebook or not. I meant to look and see. But it's nice that if you really want to dig deep, you can export this into a CSV file and then play with it as you wish. Or if like Noelle or somebody, if you're managing somebody's account and you need to really just pull numbers, that's a fantastic way to do that. So I like that Pinterest allows you to do. Let's see, what else is I going to tell you? Oh, let's talk about the audience. Audience insights. All right. So much like Instagram and Facebook, you can get some really great information about your audience. But what I love on Pinterest with your audience is that they give you the categories and interests. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when you very first signed up to be on Pinterest, but it asked you the things that you were interested in so that it would know what to put in your feed, right? What to start you off with. So you may have put women's fashion, health and wellness, kids activities, that sort of thing. Whatever it was you clicked, well, they store that data, of course. And so now this is looking at my audience and the people, I have 58,000 people in my audience. Those are eyeballs that have been on my stuff, on my pins. I don't have 58,000 followers, but 58,000 people are in my audience. And these are the other things that they are interested in besides women's fashion. We're women's fashion, consider like a business, right? So they are also interested in food and drinks, in beauty, in some in weddings, some in quotes, a lot of DIY and crafts. And you can just get really in here and see like home decor, education, diet and nutrition. These are health interests, diet. So because this is so important and so cool, because now you can gear your pins not only about what you're doing, but you can also include some of these other topics in there, so that your audience wants to stay with you and wants to look for you. Now, you have to be a little careful here because you want to stay on brand. You want to stay, what is relevant to your business. We are not a diet nutrition company, this women's clothing company, so I'm probably not going to do much on diet nutrition. But because we are also a positive affirmations company, I could, repin pins from other people that have to do with positive affirmations on home decor, you know, like a picture frame that says, I am loved or something. I am brave. DIY and crafts would be fun. You know, I could do a lot around that, around positive affirmations. So it's just a way to look at it and say, like, what are these people interested in that are looking at my stuff? And then can I fine tune my pins to correlate with some of these categories? Or can I repin things that are in these categories, but also have to do with my business as well? So just keep that in mind. Like Instagram and Facebook, you can get age range, gender, location, and where everybody's coming from. And then this, I think, is really important. It is the device. So I would say mobile for everything that I do at this company, Illuminative. Mobile rules. Everybody looks at everything on their phone, the emails, at the website, at the, at Pinterest, well, obviously Instagram, but Facebook. And so when you are creating posts and pins in Pinterest, think about this tiny screen, right? Think about this tiny screen. That's probably why the dancing, green dress with the white background works so well, because it's very clear. It's very easy to see on my screen. So just keep that in mind when you're making your pins. I am so guilty of making them too busy. I put so many words, I put so many pictures. Everything I do is always like tons of photos, tons of, words and movement and all kinds of good stuff, and it keeps it really busy. But that may not always work on when people are looking particularly at Pinterest. Now, if I have a younger audience, maybe they're used to it and they like it, but I want you to look at who my audience is. It's mostly 35 to 54-year-olds. I mean, it's like half, 35 to 54-year-olds. So I'm not saying that 35 to 54-year-olds aren't like with it or anything, because I'm in that age range, but I just mean that, the simpler pins may be better in this situation. If I had a really young audience, 25 to 34, and I wanted it to be a little, busier and a little, more words, and they've been used to looking at tiny screens since they were born, we were not, but they were used to that, then that would be beneficial, maybe to keep it busy there. So it's just, again, it's like little things that you could tweak, that you can look at. Another thing to look at here with audience insights, this is Illuminative's people, but I can also go to all Pinterest users. And I can look and see what are the trends, or what are the audience, what does the audience look like across Pinterest? And that can be very, very helpful and really beneficial. So again, with the whole looking online, although web, I'm assuming, is just a computer, right, or a laptop, because these are all Androids and iPads, iPhones. I mean, the majority of it is going to be a small screen. Just keep that in mind. And then if you look at the age range, this is what I find interesting too, is overall Pinterest, it's actually a younger audience. However, don't be discouraged by that if that's not your target audience, because the millions of numbers of users, if your target audience is in the 25 to 44 or 54 range, that's going to be a huge number. I know we talked about numbers when we did Pinterest, so like who's on here, and it was just a ridiculous amount of women in our particular customer avatar age range are there. So those are the things that I want you to look at just to get familiar with them. Just go on your Pinterest, look on there, see what's been happening, if anything's been happening. I notice a direct difference when I just do a little bit of pinning just these last, this last few weeks, right? And when I pin, I am usually creating, I would say 3, 4, maybe 5 new original pins. And then I'm also repinning just 2 or 3 of the ones that I've had before. And then I'm also trying to repin 2 or 3 pins from other people. So I don't know, it's a grand total of like 10 to 12 a day. If you use Tailwind, which I have not started using it yet with this company, but if you use Tailwind, you can do a lot more. However, Pinterest has made it really clear now that it's not 100 pins per day that's going to move the dial anymore. It is being more succinct with what you're doing, more direct and on brand, and fresh new content is what, or fresh new pins are what matters. So they would rather you make 3 new pins today and put them on there than to pin 50 things that you've already had on there or that you're getting from other people. So just keep that in mind. And when I say fresh new pins, I just mean a new image with words. new image, but it can go to the same content. So if you have one blog post or one website that you're trying to get people to go to, that's okay. You can always have the same links, but just make a new image. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. We really went deep in that a couple weeks ago, and those are all in the notes, in the Pinterest notes from before. I'm sure it won't be the last time we talk about Pinterest. All right, so those are the main things I want you to look at. But what I really wanted you to keep in mind from all of that and all of this good information that's here in Pinterest is that you want to pick out the things that you are going to actually take action on. So if I'm not going to start pinning things from other people's, what other people's interests are right now, because I just don't have the bandwidth to do that, and this isn't something I need to be looking at on a biweekly or monthly basis, right? It's a nice to know, and I can maybe get into that later. Maybe it's on my to-do list. Like I keep a list, like a running list of, hey, things I'd like to do to, up my marketing. But for right now, what I really need to know is which pins are making people click and which pins are making people buy. All right. So I know buy doesn't apply to all of you, but which pins are making people click? Pinterest is a fantastic way to grow your email list. If you don't have an actual product to sell your list. And when I say sell your list, I don't mean by dollars. I just mean get people to a landing page, get them to your website, get them somewhere where they can sign up for your email list. That is conversion. That's a mini conversion in your funnel, right? So it may not be an actual sale, may not be dollars, but it is getting somebody into your funnel so that you can then teach them your story, teach them what you do, who you are, why they should work with you, why you're an expert, and then you sell them on it, and then you close the deal. So to me, Pinterest is just as important for email capture as it is for actually making the sale. But for this particular instance, like I'm talking about, what I need to know, because I'm actually selling a product, is what is getting people to click, what is getting people to buy. So I'm going to go back into those analytics, and that's where I'm going to spend my time, right? So that's what I want you to remember when you're looking at these things, because I know it can be so overwhelming, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have all the places to look and all the different numbers. But I just want you to take the most important takeaways that you can, and those are the things that you are going to actually take action on. I am going to take action. I am going to do more pins like this Marama Maxi dress one. I'm going to. I have to, because that is what is moving the needle. So just think of it that way. It's like, what am I going to actually do, or what am I actually going to look at that I'm going to take action on? Because everything else is just fluff right now. I don't want you guys to overwhelm yourself with all these millions of numbers. The other thing is, like all things we talk about, is you can't just set it and forget it. So if you really do feel like Pinterest is somewhere that you want to spend your time, or Instagram or Facebook that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, you have to, what is the word? Like, not the plan to fail thing, but anyway, you have to put it in a calendar and say, or put it in a reminder, like once a month or once every 2 weeks, I am going to stop and look at these 3 or 4 analytics on Pinterest, these 2 or 3 analytics on Instagram, or whatever it is, or these on my website, and then decide what to do with them, compare them, see what's working, see what's not working, and then make the necessary strategy changes so that you can actually see results and you can actually get people to click through and come to you and get into your network. So just think of it that way. Let's see. I think that is it. Does anybody have any questions about Pinterest, about, looking at these analytics at all? No. Okay. So here's what another thing that I wrote in the email today. Those of you that didn't get it, is I just kind of explained, like, I have 2 main missions here with Business Casual. One is to teach, to give you knowledge, to give you strategy, and to give you action steps, right? To always have you leave feeling like, okay, if I really want to do this, Leanne just told me what to do, right? Leanne, like, or the other people in our group, like Noelle's always fantastic at this, like helping us. Diana's always great too. Like, hey, these are the things I did. This is what you can do. So that's the main goal. My second goal is obviously the relationships and the amazing women that we have in our group and our community, and making sure that we're all like collaborating and sharing with each other. It is a little harder not being with each other in person, right? I feel like a lot of these bonds were formed because we've all sat next to each other, or, an hour once a week before. And it's a little harder in this kind of video platform. So if you can make it to an in-person meeting that we'll start doing, fantastic. If not, though, no worries, because I think the website is really going to help us so much. Having a platform to get to where we can talk amongst each other, where we can, you know that everything is there. You know where to find these other women. So sometimes we get off the calls and I'm like, who was even on that call? I can't even remember now. So having a place to be, I think, is going to be our saving grace and like what's really going to boost up our community. So just remember, ladies, that this is a work in progress and that it's just me working on it. And I'm always trying to make it better. So if you guys have suggestions, please always, give them to me. I had a question today from, I can't remember who it was, an email asking if we had like some sort of link or landing page that she could send a friend to that wanted to, was interested with information. And I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I done that yet? So that is on the list for this week, is to have a landing page for you guys to, with a link that you guys can give out if you know anyone that's interested. Been meaning to do that forever anyway, to put into our social media platforms, so that anyone that's interested in our group will know what it's about. And right now the link just goes to the PayPal, like, here, it is a discount, but it's like, here, just sign up. But they don't know what they're signing up for. So I need to get better at that. So I'm working on a lot of things for us and trying to make this better, but I always love suggestions. And yeah, that's it. So that's all for today. I hope that was helpful. And like I said, this week, not only will I be doing the notes from this meeting, but I'm also going to make a analytics spreadsheet for everybody and put it out to you guys for you to play with and know what to look at and that sort of thing, and to use accordingly. So that's it. That's all for today. We actually went under an hour. My gosh, can't believe it. But thank you guys so much. Please email me or direct message me. I think my phone number is on there somewhere. You're always allowed. You can text me anytime too if you have any questions or email issues that I will be working on. So see you guys later if there's no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.